They are not just well. And it's because they are not eating well. And so they work small, they are tired. The least thing they do, they are tired. Even walking to work, after walking and getting to the office, they can't do anything else because they are already exhausted. So it has serious issues on our productivity.
That was economist Dr. Evans Nunu speaking there. Moving on, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abuaje, says recent macroeconomic improvements are helping to restore private sector confidence and stimulate business activity. Speaking on taking stock, Ghana's economic turnaround, he noted that businesses are highly sensitive to economic conditions, particularly inflation and interest rates. Mr. Abuaje explained that the year 2022 was especially challenging for businesses as high inflation and rising borrowing costs created a difficult operating environment. He said the recent stabilization in key economic indicators is now providing some relief, allowing businesses to plan better and gradually expand operations. He added that sustained improvement in macroeconomic environment will be critical to maintaining confidence and supporting long-term private sector growth.
For businesses, we operate in a certain environment. That environment is the macroeconomic environment. So if that environment is good, it stimulates business activity. If it's bad, it puts people off and people will not want to invest. From the 2022, there were a lot of difficulties because the environment was harsh. There are all the numbers, inflation of 54. We have policy rate around 30%. And around that time, all the indicators, we were among the highest in the world. A policy rate of about 30%, you don't get it anywhere. Inflation 54%, except from Zimbabwe and those with extreme cases of inflation. The progress for me, the transition has been very swift. That is what we have been looking for. As Theo Riley said, to move from that level to an inflation of 3.2, it takes a lot of work to get to that level. So, I mean, it's a plus to the managers of the economy and to all of us. One thing I have observed, for which is helping us, is the coordination between the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. When interest rates was very high, inflation was very high, we said that we cannot manage inflation only with the monetary policy. So we saw the central bank increasing policy rates up, but inflation was still going up, forgetting that the fiscal policy has a role to, because it affects the cost of production. So they were introducing new taxes, new cost structures for businesses. And so it was difficult for inflation to come down. Now we've seen a very strong coordination. To sustain the level of inflation we have at 3.2, the fiscal is also very key. And a clear case is what you have observed with the issue of the fuel. I mean, if you had allowed the prices to stay where they are, I think all of us would have been buying fuel at maybe 20 per litre. And that would have pushed inflation to a higher level. So all the gains that would have made would have been reversed and nothing would have been achieved. But now at least we have some leeway. That is the coordination that I expected that should be continued if you want to sustain this level of inflation.
And that was the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abuaje there. Moving on, former Member of Parliament for Prestia Huni Valley, Kwesi Blay, and local youth groups have opposed demands by lawyer Martin Kwebu to revoke the Bogosu Prestia mine lease held by Heath Goldfields Limited. Speaking during a solidarity walk dubbed Heath Must Stay, they described the calls as premature, arguing that the company is currently providing jobs for local residents and has plans to expand employment opportunities in the area. Private legal practitioner Martin Kwebu, speaking in support of the Catchment Area Community Alliance, which represent communities in the Bogosu Prestia area, maintains that Heath Goldfields has failed to meet key obligations related to the redevelopment of the mine and, in his view, should no longer be permitted to continue operations. However, Mr. Blay insists the company is contributing to local employment and should be given the opportunity to continue operations while improving its performance.
I am more than 2 million% for Heath to stay. It is too early for us to agitate that they should leave. What is their crime? I am for Heath because, one, it's a Ghanaian mining company. Whatever money that they get, at the end of the day, it will stay in the country. Now, our guys need employment. They need to be employed. So why are we asking them to leave? And at this juncture, When fine, if the government also decide, okay, let him listen to the community. They say heat must go, so heat go. Who loses? It is we, the community. That is why some of us, we are for heat to stay. But they should engage the community. They should let us know their working plans. And then from there, we can all go.
Kwesi Blay is the former Member of Parliament for the Pristia Holy Valley constituency. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, has called for increased local investment in the production of grinding media, key mining input market he estimates to be worth about $100 billion globally. Grinding media, comprising steel balls, rods and similar materials, is used in the mining industry to crush and grind ore into finer particles for processing. According to the chamber, Ghana currently produces only about 20% of its total demand globally, leaving a significant gap that presents opportunities for domestic investors and manufacturers. However, industry stakeholders have raised concerns about inconsistent quality standards in local production. They warn that this has contributed to operational challenges, including equipment downtime, reduced mineral recovery rates, and increased production costs for mining companies.
Dollars of that was in 2023, and about that 20-point-something million was all that we were able to supply locally. So it means that you have about $90-something million business that is available for us to take. And now with the standards that are in place, and there are a lot of manufacturers that also currently are around, that is an opportunity for us to be able to scale up. We should not only be looking at Ghana. Once we start doing that, we can export into our neighboring countries who also would use activated carbon, take advantage of AFTA, for example, and so then it also then becomes an avenue to be able to bring some forex back to our country.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe. Moving on, the GSM Association has launched the Digital Africa Index to help countries measure progress in digital and ICT development. Speaking on CNBC Africa, head of Sub-Saharan Africa at GSMA, Angela Wimola, said the index is designed to show member states where they stand and what is needed to move toward becoming digital economies. She explained that the tool is interactive, updated annually, and built from data provided by operators and governments. The aim is to support Africa's continental digital strategy without reinventing the wheel, while helping countries move from small-scale projects to large-scale execution.
So our humble contribution as the GSMA, in order to help member states start, is that we have the Digital Africa Index. It's not perfect, but it has been helped by data that we have as operators, as well as the governments, the digital and ICT sector, to understand where we are, and that's where we start. So we go there, we go online, it's an interactive tool. Every single year we update it when you do something, because as we've said, we have strategies, a continental strategy. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. So if we start there, we start understanding, do we have what it takes to implement? Do we go from, small implementation and execution to mega execution? Because that's what moves the needle towards being a digital nation. So if we can go there, our humble ask is member states can help us understand. If you don't know where you are, we'll help you get there, and we'll help you show you where to start and continue. Because when you use the analogy, as we said, of the football team, and the vice president here has said that in his country, therefore, where are you in your country? Are you 1? Are you 3? Are you 5? And more importantly, even with those players that are there, and as you begin to add more players, what are they adding as a function? Because every player plays a different game. One is a striker, one is a forward. So is this one playing digital health? And where are they moving in terms of the measure? Are you trying to lower the amount of money that you're using in financing healthcare from X to Y by dropping the number of days that patients stay in hospitals?
Angela Wimola is the head of the Sub-Saharan Africa at GSMA. Now, President John Dramani Mahama says government is working towards the re-establishment of Ghana's national airline. Speaking at a sword cutting ceremony for the new interconnecting concourse at the Accra International Airport, he revealed that he will meet with the task force set up to develop a concrete roadmap for Ghana's flag carrier to fly proudly across Africa and the global aviation space once again. The president also commended the Minister for Foreign Affairs and the patriotic Ghanaian who is personally funding the remodeling and the refurbishment of the VVIP lounge at the airport at no cost to the state.
This week also, I'm meeting the task force I set up to work towards the re-establishment of our national airline. I'm looking forward to receiving their presentation outlining the concrete roadmap for Ghana's flag to fly proudly across Africa and in the global aviation space once again. I wish to commend the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the patriotic Ghanaian who is remodeling and refurbishing the VVIP lounge at his own expense, free of charge to the government of Ghana. When we visited the lounge, I told him that when he's finished, we'll give him a lifetime membership to that lounge. He can use it until death do us part. He's giving it free of charge at the cost of almost $2 million.
You just heard the President John Dramani Mahama speaking there. Now to our last story, Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Jinapor says government has restored discipline in the energy distribution sector, leading to improved revenue collection and tighter expenditure controls at the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company. He indicated that reforms have significantly reduced operational cost, with ECG spending dropping from 9.3 billion cedis in 2024 to about 1.8 billion cedis this year through efficiency measures. The minister explained that the new approach focuses on prudent financial management and eliminating waste while strengthening service delivery. He added that the measures are part of broader efforts to stabilize the power sector and ensure long-term sustainability.
We brought discipline in the distribution sector, culminating in increased revenue collection and, more importantly, a very disciplined expenditure framework for ECG and NETCO. Whilst in 2024, ECG spent about 9.3 billion. This year, ECG spending 1.8 billion through efficiency, but spending that amount on critical infrastructure. And everybody can attest to that fact. Last year alone, we restored the partial risk guarantee from the World Bank, which had been depleted, $500 million. We paid over 1.4 billion energy sector debt, restoring confidence in the sector and ensuring that we deliver reliable power to the people of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, taken together, these efforts have resulted in a period of relative stability in power supply, one that many Ghanaians have experienced over the past year. However, and as happens in life, recently we've had some major challenges.
You just heard the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Jinapor, and the news at 6. This is where we end Zed News at 6. But before I go, a recap of our top stories. Economist Dr. Evans Nunu warns that food stress threatens health and productivity in Ghana. Also, President John Dramani Mahama pushes for national airline revival.
Hey, my friend, as you step into today, here's something simple but powerful. Write down the vision. Don't just keep it in your head. Don't just talk about it. Put it down where you can see it. You see, there is something about clarity that changes everything. When you understand or when your vision is written, it stops being a vague idea and start becoming a real direction. You begin to move with purpose instead of guesswork. Make it plain, not complicated, not crowded, just clear and direct. What are you building? Where are you going? What do you want your life and your work to look like in the next few months or in the next few years? Define it in a way you can revisit every single day. Because on the day when motivation is low or things feel confusing, that written vision becomes your anchor. It reminds you why you started and keeps you focused when distractions come. And don't just write it. Look at it, speak it, and align your actions with it. You see, vision isn't just for inspiration. It is for direction. It guides your decisions and keep you moving forward step by step. So my friend, this morning and today, take a moment to write it down, make it plain, and your future deserves that level of clarity. Good morning. '26, and we're getting to the end of the month now. The days are moving fast, and April is already asking how far. Well, this is a Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM, and I am Nick Trebi Hammond. Thank you very much for making us part of your Tuesday morning. No long talk this morning. Of course, Tuesdays are for focus. The week has already started. The pressure is on, and everybody's trying to make something count before the month wraps up. If you're in traffic, please take it easy. If you're already at work, stay sharp. We'll get into the business stories, the market movements, and the decision shaping the economy, the things that will eventually affect your pockets. And we're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to engage us on those platforms. Share the link with your family and friends and get them to be a part of the show this morning. It's Tuesday. Let's lock in, as always, for God and country. Lala bringing us to exactly 33 minutes after 6. This is the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond. Thank you very much for making this part of your morning this day. And the song says that Mawobo Ewale Mawono. It means that I will strengthen you and uphold you with my right hand. And that's the word of the Lord to somebody this morning. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you're facing in this particular phase of your life. But I want you to know that this is the word of the Lord unto you this morning, that he will lift you and uphold you with his right hand. And so don't worry, don't cry, don't wail. Just take it easy on God. Trust him, believe him, and he will come through for you at the right time. So this morning, that is my word to you. If you're listening to me, wherever you're listening to me, whether it is in line with your business, it's in line with your career, your marriage, your children, anything at all that you're trusting the Lord for, and you feel like you are weak in that phase. Yesterday, somebody reached out to me and says that I am very weak. I don't know. I don't have joy. I want you to know that if you are like that, if you're in that phase of your life, there is God. There is God. And God does not lie. Whatever he has said in his word, he watches that to perform it. And so please take it easy on yourself. Trust God, believe him, and he will come through for you eventually. And so that's my word to you this morning, wherever you find yourself, whether you're driving, whether you're already at the workplace, whether you are even confused about leaving the house for work. If you're listening to me this morning, I pray that this word will touch your heart and that will change the course of your life and the course of your day today. And so that's my word for you this morning. Once again, thank you very much for making this part of your morning. This morning, I have a lot of things coming up for you. As always, we're starting with our news review. We'll look at some of the stories that are making waves, and we'll try to touch on a few of them as we move on. And then at exactly 7 o'clock, we bring you the business news. Right after that, at 7:30, I come your way with the business brief segment. We share a few things in line with our roundtable discussion, and then we get into transport today with Solomon Tetenati, and that will be followed by market trends with Emmanuel Boating, our in-house economic analyst. We look at the markets, and then we wrap everything up with a big conversation right here on the show. Today, we're talking about marketing. Yes, a major part of every business is marketing. And so we're having a conversation on that and the role of data really in marketing, because there are people who are actually doing marketing without data. They just think that, if I post on social media, if I put this, I put that I'm good to go. No. Well, this morning we try to break all of them down right here on the show. So if you notice, there is nothing politics here. This is where you get the peace of mind. You stay away from the noise and actually be able to propel your business forward. And so if you're a business person, if you know anybody who's a business person, recommend this show to them. This is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. We only talk business, we talk lifestyle, and we talk leisure. You won't get this anywhere in this country and even beyond. And so please make sure that you tune in every morning. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please feel free to drop a comment under the live stream. Feel free to share the link with your family and friends and get them to be a part of the show this morning. We talk business. If you mean business, then this is where you have to be every morning from 6:15 till 9 a.m. 9:55 a.m. and your life and your business will not be the same. All right. You can also send us a WhatsApp if you want. Feel free to engage us on our WhatsApp number 0544 321019 0544 321019. Yes, so that's that. Good conversations coming up, and of course good music as well. I play you some very good music, and so please don't go anywhere. Stick and stay. We get into our news review segment and we look at some of the stories that are making waves this morning, and then we try to break a few of them down. Please don't go anywhere. For staying with us right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond. Let's get into all the things that we have to do this morning. And we're starting, like I said, with our news review segment. Let's look at some of the stories that are making waves on various portals, and we'll try to touch on a few of them as we move on. Now, well, this starting with myjoyonline.com. Top story here says that I took off my generator to feel what Ghanaians feel. Deputy Energy Minister on life without power. Also, this one says that power instability and weeds choke water supply in Eastern Accra. Also, demand shot up, transformers overloaded. That is coming from the Deputy Energy Minister. Also, Atuguba allays fears of Supreme Court ruling annulling all OSP prosecuted cases. And also, trial by media. Joannes lawyer accused RNAQ of undermining justice amid ongoing appeal. Also, this one says that post-IMF era could test Ghana's economic gains, and that is from the AGI chief. AGI chief, which is the Association of Ghana Industries chief. We'll look at that story shortly. Also, this one says that still on myjoyonline.com. Okay, all right, let's move on to citynewsroom.com. We'll come back to that shortly. Now, Adamus Resources says that we will not submit to unlawful lease revocation. Also, Ghana on track as for IMF program exits as final review commences, and also due process followed in Adamus lease revocation, and that's coming from the Minerals Commission. Also, 4 arrested for smuggling over 100 bags of cocoa into Ghana. And Binduri said 21 arrested over attack on military escorted convoy. Also, police in challenging heights rescue 42 human trafficking victims, and DTEC withdraws policy on post-retirement contracts. Also, Ghana Armed Forces escort convoy attacked in Binduri, 3 civilians killed. Also, Bank of Ghana OMO course gold strategy key to inflation decline, reserve build-up, and that is coming from a UG lecturer. Also, Ghana must strengthen local production ahead of IMF exit, and that is coming from the AGI CEO as well. Some more stories. Let's move on to channel 1newsonline.com. It says that Binduri attack, 21 assailants arrested. Ghana Armed Forces says that also police rescue 42 trafficked minors forced into commercial sex. And that's a story there as well. Also, Ghana Armed Forces convoy attacked in Binduri, 3 civilians killed. And GTEC withdraws post-retirement directive after Education Minister's order. And also Health must stay. Heath must stay. Prestia youth oppose calls for lease revocation. Also, police says that suspects in Sami Jemfi's in-law murder case remain in custody. And Education Minister orders withdrawal of GTEC post-retirement contract letters. And also, Guta says that business environment now very healthy and stable. And Jinapo says we can't provide fixed load shedding timetable. Government committed to stabilizing power amid ongoing challenges. And also 2 generation units restored after Great Coal Fire, and keep coins in circulation, scarcity driving up prices. And that's coming from Gamma, as they tell the Bank of Ghana. Also, AGI chief says that IMF exits could test Ghana's recovery. And so those are some of the stories there this morning. Let's move to some other portals. On graphiconline.com, police rearrest 3 escapees from Adabraka police station. Also, GTEC withdraws policy directive on retirement age and post-retirement contracts for academic senior members in public universities. Also, Education Ministry holds GTEC directive on university staff contracts. Nakosombo fire 2 generation units back on grade after unprecedented substation disaster. Also, MASI launched to honor MASI launched to honor late artist Madi Owi Ofui. Also, President Mahama cut sword for the New Accra Airport concourse as passenger numbers surge. And also, immigration seeks private sector support. Also, protecting forest security staff grant forestry paramilitary powers. Chief Executive Officer demands that. And also, Asante Heni unveils Build Ghana Now campaign. Also, Asanko Gold and health authorities intensify fight against malaria in Amensi West. Also, Ghana Police and Challenging Heights rescue 42 trafficked girls in Western North crackdown. Akosombo power to be restored this week as control room fire triggers emergency measures. And also DVLA recalls defective 2026 embossed number plates and offers free replacement. And also Ghana condemns Mali terrorist attacks that killed defense minister and issues advisory to citizens. And the double burden of Ghana's adolescents, I think that's a feature there. This one says that DAF launched Burma Camp redevelopment project to tackle housing deficit. Also, AAG launches 18th edition of Gong Gong Awards, and 400,000 new eligible households signed into LEAP. And GIZ hands over furniture to 2 pharmaceutical bodies. Also, unite to keep Clote Corley NDC constituency leaders to members. Also, Tema East Sub-Metro Council reconstituted, a new Sub-Metro chairman elected. And also Africa's Terms, Africa to host global dialogue on digital learning. And so these are some of the stories, and our published oral traditions to preserve them. UNESCO to Ghana on World Book and Copyright Day. Also, role of research into solving tomato crisis. Fire destroys Sunyani courts and legal records. All right, so these are some of the stories there. Let's move on to other portals this morning. On the High Street Journal, here it says that Ghana steadied its economy, but its farmers are wondering which economy that was. And also, Nkranza poultry farmers call for expanded access to chicks under Nkuko Nketi initiative. Also, beyond Ghana, expert analysis reveals why West Africa's aviation cost crisis demands urgent attention. Also, High Street talks to host HoneyPay CEO on virtual assets as Ghana steps up digital finance oversight. Some more stories here. This one says that lesson in crisis, can Ghana now reliably supply power without Akosombo substation? Minister declares. Government to deploy 2,500 new transformers across Accra to stabilize power distribution. Also, Gridco engineers deploy a novel technology to restore power after Akosombo substation fire. Also, this one from EIB, which is a European Investment Bank, they commit 1 billion euros to Africa energy needs, and says that can Ghana tap in to address current challenges. GSE posts 69.6% year-to-date gain as weekly momentum holds, and oil climbs to $108 as tensions keep supply tight. And also in Ghana, maintenance works equals doom, so how citizens keep paying for lack of proper planning. Back to square one, feed crisis and market gluts. Feed crisis and market gluts threaten Ghana's poultry industry. Also, T-bills record sit under subscription, but very much now at 0.92% as yield show mixed signals. And these are some of the stories there. Maybe some more here before we move on to other ones. It says that Cocoa Board anti-smuggling unit arrests 4 and seizes over 100 bags of cocoa beans. Also, Jinapo says reform stabilize power sector before Akosombo fire exposed system weaknesses. And also, government launches 2026 to 2030 decent work plan targeting jobs and social protection. And also, regulator moves to enforce rent laws on tertiary hostel operators. And so these are some of the stories making waves this morning on the High Street Journal. Let's move on to bnftonline.com and look at some of the stories here as well. Now, here on bnftonline.com, this one says that single substation failure cripples grid, and comes with a picture of the energy minister. Also, NEIP commences grant disbursement under a Jumarura program. Also, Zoom Lion operated 9 additional waste containers free for over a year in Cape Coast. Also, Ghana Armed Forces 190 million Ghana cedis for Burma Camp redevelopment project. And so those are some of the stories there as well. Also, this one says that financial security series with IMF wants against blanket subsidies as Middle East conflict squeezes fiscal space. Also, AI and the future of supply chains, Ghana-Netherlands trade relationship, the role of Okay, His Excellency Verheul's leadership. Also, landfillings waste management creates no value. And this one says that fiscal discipline has made banking sector and economy stronger. And that is coming from the ADB managing director. So these are some of the stories that are making waves. Let's look at the international front. Now, here on BBC, suspect charged with attempted assassination of Trump at Washington. Also, this one says that political violence jolts the U.S. once again with a familiar response. And Pakistan accused of attacking Afghan university. Also, Russian super yacht sails through Strait of Hormuz despite blockade. Wow. This one says that babies among those tied up and allegedly abused in Indonesia child care center, and terror trial to begin for man accused of plotting attack on Taylor Swift concert. Also keen to defend democratic values as U.S. states visit begins. Also, Jimmy Kimmel rejects White House criticism over Melania widow joke. And also, this one says that when Attenborough met the gorillas, okay, I think it's a feature there. Also, this one says that Rebel Wilson says claims she bullied women on her film are absolute nonsense. All right, so these are some stories there. Let's move on to the BBC Africa. Now here, IS claims responsibility for Nigeria attack that killed 29 people. Also, plane crash in South Sudan kills all 15 on board. Quite unfortunate to lose those lives. Also, this one says that Russian fighters confirm withdrawal from northern Mali city after separatist attacks. Also, at least 42 killed in Chad after water well dispute escalates. And pirate sees another vessel off Somali coast as threat level increased. All right, these are some of the stories there as well. Let's move on to CNN. Now here, Trump's hypocritical crusade on violent rhetoric and the U.S. emerging split reality. Also, King Charles and Queen Camilla begin a 4-day state visit to the U.S. This one says that furious fans rally to Megan Thee Stallion after breakup with Klay Thompson. Also, electric air taxis take off from Manhattan to for first New York airport trips. And also, the man who decides when and where your next flight is going. Also, this one says that Elon Musk and Sam Altman face off in court, and Kimmel pushes back on Trump's call for his firing in his first major test for Disney's new CEO. And also on Reuters, Trump not happy with latest Iran proposal to end the war, U.S. official says. Also, Germany's Merz says Iran is humiliating U.S. as talks stall. And also, U.S. and Iran clash at UN. U.S. and Iran clash at UN after Tehran gets nuclear non-proliferation role. Also, Russian super yacht crosses blockaded Strait of Hormuz. And this one says Indonesia train crash toll rises to 14 as rescuers complete evacuation. And top Jalisco cartel leader El Jardinero arrested in Mexico. Also, King Charles promotes British-American unity in rare speech to Congress. Pope Leo signals shift away from Catholic Church's focus on sex. All right, and so also suspect in Washington dinner shooting, suspect in Washington dinner shooting charged with trying to assassinate Trump. And also Trump calls for suspect in press dinner attack pretty sick guy whose views alarmed relatives. And also Washington Hilton says it was using Secret Service protocols on the night of the attack. And also who takes charge if the US president is incapacitated. All right, so these are some of the stories here as well. Maybe Reuters Africa, we can touch on that, and then we go to Bloomberg and wrap up. Also, it says that Mali at risk of splintering after jihadi and separatist attacks. Also, South Sudan says 14 killed in plane crash near Juba. Also, Iran war is latest blow to Somalia's malnourished children. London listed tallow oil profit slams on production hit and Ghana payment delays. China's Huayu reports first lithium salts exports from Zimbabwe, and also IMF board approves $266 million arrangement for Liberia. Nigeria's military backs local startup unveiling drones, mine clearing vehicles as well. Also, Sudan bans a wide range of imports to stem currency slide, and Islamic State claims responsibility for attack that killed dozens of Nigeria's Adamawa State. Also, Mali Defense Minister killed in major weekend assault, and gunmen killed 29 in attack in Nigeria's Adamawa State, government says that. And also, this one said that lack of rainfall raises fears for Ivory Coast cocoa crop. And 15 students rescued after raid on Nigerian orphanage school, state government says that. And also, Congo launches 100 million US-backed mining guard to secure sites. Al Qaeda group says Mali army quits northern town as insurgency spreads. And also, South Africa withdraws AI policy due to fake AI generated sources. Also, the insurgents groups battling Mali's military-led government, and Russia's Africa Corps confirms withdrawal from Mali's Kidal. South Africa plans exchange control revamp to attract billions of investment. And so these are some of the stories also making waves. Finally, let's touch on Bloomberg, and then we can return and see if we will be able to look at some other stories before we go. Now, here on Bloomberg, Trump to address Iran proposal very soon as oil rises further. Also, oil climbs as U.S. weighs Iran proposal with Strait with Hormuz still shut. Also, Iranian oil tanker are clustering just shy of U.S. blockade line. And first LNG shipment since war began appears to exit Hormuz. Also, emerging stocks as even better bargain after best rally in years. And also, Tanzania blames outside agitators for deadly election violence. At least 42 people killed in eastern Chad during clashes over water resources. Barclays sets aside 222 million pounds related to the collapse of MFS. And also, UAE tells some oil buyers to pick up Gulf supply outside Hormuz. And BP profits jumps as oil trading boomed during Iran war. And Barclays traders miss out on a Wall Street market windfall. And Japan Industry Group warns of war impact on supply of thinness. All right, so these are some of the stories making waves. Let's move on. Let's come back to myjoyonline.com and touch on some of the stories here before we go. Now, this one says that post IMF era could text Ghana's economic gains, and that's coming from the AGI chief. Now, Ghana's recent economic stability and growing investor confidence may come under pressure once the country exits its program with the International Monetary Fund. The Association of Ghana Industries has cautioned. Now, while acknowledging improvements in fiscal management and renewed market optimism, concerns are emerging over how sustainable these gains will be in the absence of IMF backing. The program has played a critical role in restoring credibility and attracting investments, raising questions about the potential shift in sentiment after its conclusion. Now, industry leaders say maintaining momentum will require discipline and continuity in policy implementation, warning against any form of complacency that could reverse the progress we've made so far. And so, yes, very important story or concern raised there. Now, in the past, what we've seen in this country is that anytime we are under IMF programs, we seem to be doing fine. Like what we are seeing. If you're not aware, we are under an IMF program. To the best of my knowledge, if there are even conversations going on, I think currently along those lines. And very soon, IMF is going to leave the country. Government. I've heard the finance minister say that he won't renew. They won't continue the facility. So that means that IMF will leave. But what we've seen is that whenever IMF leaves, the government goes back to spending anyhow, doing all kinds of things, and then coming back to our cycles of troubles. And it's quite unfortunate. I'm just saying that almost every African country is on an IMF facility. At this time, I just saw that Liberia has received a tranche, or they are considering something like that along to be able to support them and all of that. It's quite unfortunate. I've seen Zimbabwe, I've seen some other countries in recent times, all of them running to the IMF. These are I don't know what we have to be doing as African countries. It looks like when things are with the Africans, we don't manage it well, and it saddens my heart so much that this is what we face. But the call is to Ghana, to government, that when the IMF era passes, we need to be able to hold on to the things that we need to stay disciplined, because I know the majority of the works that we've seen, we are told by economists, is as a result of economic discipline, fiscal discipline, really. And so we want to see more of that as we exit the IMF program. So AGI chief is actually warning that is where the real test is. What we are seeing now, we can't celebrate it, but we have to look at the implications when IMF finally exits, and that is where the real deal is. And so that's a story there. Let's touch on one more before we go. Or no, because of our time, we won't be able to do so. But yes, these are some of the stories that are making waves this morning, and that will be all for our news review segment right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. Up next is business news. Please stay.
Economist Emmanuel Boateng has described the government's recent approach to the treasury market as a cost control strategy, noting that it reflects both fiscal discipline and ongoing tension between policy decisions and investor expectations. Speaking on Business Breakfast on ZFM, Mr. Boateng explained that the government's decision to accept 3.897 billion out of 4.434 billion offered signals a clear unwillingness to borrow at any cost, especially in an environment where debt servicing already poses a significant fiscal burden. According to him, accepting higher bids would have increased yields and consequently the cost of borrowing, placing additional pressure on public finances. That was economist Emmanuel Boateng speaking there. ABSA Group Chief Executive Officer Kenny Filler has reaffirmed Ghana's importance to the bank's Pan-African strategy during a working visit to Accra. The visit formed part of ABSA's regional engagement tour across Africa aimed at strengthening growth, financial inclusion and customer-focused services. Mr. Filler met with clients, regulators and staff of ABSA Ghana, stressing the bank's commitment to building strong partnerships and supporting economic transformation. ABSA is also focusing on fintech, trade, finance and youth empowerment as key areas to drive Ghana's growth. The group also highlighted its ambition to deepen regional integration through digital innovation and sustainable finance initiatives. ABSA Bank Ghana's Managing Director, Edward Nate Bochi, said hosting the group CEO reflects the strategic importance of Ghana within ABSA's footprint. He added that the bank remains committed to delivering impact through inclusive banking and innovative financial solutions. Still in the banking sector, Universal Merchant Bank (UNB) has launched a new product dubbed UNB Legacy Care Plus to address the growing challenge of intestate succession in Ghana. The initiative is designed to help customers properly plan and manage their estate, ensuring that assets are smoothly transferred to dependents after death. The bank says the product seeks to reduce the high number of cases where individuals die without leaving a will. A 2023 report by the Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation estimates that about 85.5% of Ghanaian adults die intestate. Speaking after the launch, the head of registrars and wealth management at UNB, Nkumsa Sapon, said many families continue to suffer delays and disputes over asset transfers due to the absence of proper estate planning. She explained that the new product is intended to provide a structured solution to help customers transfer wealth to their loved ones without difficulties. Away from that, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, Makbedu Abuaje, says improvements in Ghana's macroeconomic conditions are restoring confidence in the private sector and encourage business activity. He explained that the business environment is heavily shaped by macroeconomic stability, noting that when conditions are favorable, investment increases, but uncertainty discourages business expansion. He recalled that 2022 was a particularly challenging year for businesses, pointing to extremely high inflation and elevated interest rates at the time, which created a difficult operating environment and placed Ghana among countries experiencing some of the highest economic pressures globally. However, he observed that recent economic adjustments have been significant and relatively rapid, especially the sharp decline in inflation compared to the previous highs. He described these improvements as important for rebuilding business confidence and stabilizing economic activity. Mr. Bedu Abuaji also commended economic managers for the progress made, saying the current direction sends a positive signal to both investors and the wider business community. Moving on, the Ghana Hotels Association is calling on government to review taxes and utility tariffs affecting the hospitality industry. President of the association, Victor Opoku-Minta, says the current cost structure is driving up hotel accommodation prices. He explained that taxes alone account for about 20% of the cost of a hotel room, leaving operators to struggle with electricity, water, staff salaries and maintenance. He stressed that hotels require constant upgrades to maintain service standards, but high utility costs are making operations difficult. He therefore urged government to reconsider how hotels are classified under utility tariffs, saying supportive policies could ease the burden and make room rates more competitive. Mr. Opoku-Minta also noted that many hotel supplies are imported, further increasing operational cost. While welcoming the removal of the 1% COVID-19 levy, he said more policy discussions are needed to make Ghana's hotel rates competitive with other destinations in Africa. Ghana is entering a decisive phase of its economic recovery as a mission from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) arrives in Accra on April 29, 2026 to begin the sixth and final review of the Extended Credit Facility Program. The 2-week exercise will assess the country's performance under the 3-year arrangement approved in 2023, including fiscal discipline, energy sector reforms, and financial stability. The outcome will determine whether Ghana completes the program and secures the final tranche of support ahead of a planned exit in August. The review will focus on government spending, structural reforms, and monetary sector progress, while also evaluating improvements in inflation, growth, and foreign reserves as policymakers aim to sustain stability beyond the program. Moving on, the Mobile Money Advocacy Group Ghana, MOMAG, has directed mobile money agents across the country to stop all cash-out transactions conducted without a physical presence of customers. The directive is aimed at strengthening security and reducing fraud within Ghana's mobile money ecosystem. In a statement, the group stressed that customers must be physically present at agent points with their mobile phones to carry out withdrawals and deposits. MOMAG explained that remote or proxy transactions where individuals transact on behalf of others pose significant security risks and must be discontinued immediately. The group noted that the move follows a recent regulatory exercise by the Mobile Money Fintech Limited, which led to the termination of over 900 agent accounts and the suspension of more than 100 others for 1 month. According to MOMAG, the sanctions were imposed due to violations including unauthorized transaction prompts and attempts to manipulate customers through fraudulent schemes. The group further indicated that more than 800 agents were cautioned but allowed to continue operations under stricter compliance measures. MOMAG has welcomed the enforcement action, describing it as necessary to protect customers and restore confidence in mobile money services. It is also encouraging agents who are not yet members to join the association to promote better coordination and adherence to industry standards. Now to our final story, the Government Investment Promotion Center is intensifying efforts to support existing investors following a high-level mission to Maleka farms in Akuse, a key hub for aquaculture development. The visit by the Center's Aftercare and Investor Grievance Division focused on assessing operations, identifying challenges and strengthening collaborations to ensure business expansion. Officials say addressing regulatory bottlenecks, infrastructure gaps, and operational constraint remains critical to sustaining investor confidence and preventing capital flight in Ghana's agribusiness sector. Malika Farms, located along the Volta River, continues to play a vital role in premium tilapia production while expanding into piggery under a diversified model. The center highlights its contribution to job creation, skills development, and local economic growth as Ghana positions aquaculture as a driver of industrialization and food security. This is where we end the business news, but before I go, let's take a recap of our stories. Economist says government selective bond acceptance signals fiscal discipline amid mixed market yields. Also, Ghana faces final IMF review ahead of planned program exit in August. And Ghana Investment Promotion Center deepens aftercare drive as Malika Farms boost aquaculture growth. We came your way with details of these stories and many others from our studio here at number 6 Anyete Avenue, East Legon, Accra. For more news, you can log on to www.zedmultimedia.com or you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH and on TikTok and YouTube at Z Multimedia. Thank you for listening. I am Ami Ifwa Kwejwa. Nishrebi
customer? How do you know your customer? I mean, not what you think they like, not what they told you once, but how do you actually know consistently, clearly, and confidently what your customer wants? How do you know? Because for a long time, many businesses, especially here in Ghana, have relied on instinct. Oh, people like this. Oh, this is what sells. Oh, let's try this and see. And sometimes it works, but other times it doesn't. You see people run businesses, sit there, even from, every entrepreneur, all the roadside vendors and all of those people sit down, expect people to come, and they don't show up, and then they close and go home, and they and all of those things. So you see that there are stocks that are sitting. People open shops, they don't do any research, nothing. They just open the business or start the business and expect people to come. So stock sits, and not just those people, but even big organizations. Some people are victims of what we're talking about, or are corporates, let me say. Campaigns fail, money is spent, but results don't come. And that is what happens most of the time. And then we say, oh, business is slow. But what if the issue is not that business is slow? What if the issue is that we are guessing in a world that is now driven by knowing? Now, let me take you outside Ghana for a moment to a company many of us use every day. This one, I want to talk to you about Netflix. Now, today, Netflix feels effortlessly. Feels effortless. You open it and somehow it knows exactly what you might want to watch. It recommends movies, it suggests series, and even changes the images you see just to catch your attention. But it wasn't always like this. Now, before Netflix became the giant it is today, it was fighting for survival. It was competing with traditional TV, DVD rental stores, big media companies. And the big question was simple. How do we keep people watching and paying? Now, here's where Netflix made a different decision. Now, instead of guessing, they chose to listen. Not to noise, not to opinions, but to data. And every time you open Netflix, something is being observed. What you watch, when you pause, when you stop, what you search for, and what you ignore. Even the thumbnail you click is not random. It's all data. Now imagine this. Instead of asking what kind of show should we produce, Netflix asks a different question. What is our data already telling us about people? Or what is our data telling us people actually love? And that question led to one of the boldest moves in that space. The production of the hit series, House of Cards. Now, before creating it, Netflix studied its users and discovered something very interesting. As a large number of viewers loved political dramas, many were watching film directed by David Fincher, and there was strong interest in content featuring Kevin Spacey. Now, think about that. 3 separate insights, individually useful, but together very, very powerful. So instead of guessing, Netflix combined all 3 of them and invested millions into producing a show that is built on data-backed insights. Now, what was the result? From day one, there was massive viewership, new subscriptions, and a shift in identity from a platform that distributes content to one that creates it. And that is the power of data. Not just to explain the past, but to predict the future. And here's where it gets interesting for us, because you might be listening and thinking, oh, that is Nestle, that's America, that is big money. But let's bring it home. Every day in Ghana, a business owner posts on Instagram, hoping it goes viral. A shop restocks products, hoping they will sell. A brand runs a promotion, hoping customers will respond. You see, hope, guess, try, repeat. But the environment is changing. You can hope, you can guess, you can try, you can repeat, but environment is changing. Because today, data is no longer luxury. It has become something very necessary. Globally, companies that use data-driven marketing are said to be 6 times more likely to be profitable year on year. 6 times. And businesses that personalize customer experiences using data can see revenue increases of up to 10 to 15% or more. Now, pause for a moment, because this is not about big corporations only. Even on your phone right now, your WhatsApp business has insights. Your Instagram shows engagement data. Your Facebook page tracks reach and clicks. And so the question is, are you using it or you are ignoring it? Are you using it or you are ignoring? Now, because, here's a shift happening in 2026. Marketing is moving from, I think my customers like this, to I know my customers respond to this. From let's try and see to let's act on what the data is telling us. Data is king, from broadcasting to everyone to speaking directly to the right people. And in competitive markets, that difference is everything. And so that is why today's conversation is very, very important. Our topic for today's roundtable is the importance of data in today's marketing strategies. We are going to explore how data is shaping marketing, not just globally, but right here in Ghana, how businesses can better understand their customers, how to target the right audience instead of everyone, how to improve engagement and results, and how to maximize return on every CD spent on marketing. And we'll also talk about the real challenges, the cost, the skills gap, and the fear around data privacy, because this is not just a success story conversation, it's a reality check. Are Ghanaian businesses truly leveraging data? Are we really relying, or are we still relying too much on instinct in a data-driven world? And more importantly, what practical steps can you take starting now? So whether you're a small business owner, a marketing professional, a content creator, or someone trying to grow a brand, please stay with us this morning on our on Business Breakfast on Zed. When we get into our roundtable discussion, we have a very important conversation, because this conversation might just change. Might change how you see your customers and how your customers also see you. So please don't go anywhere. Stick and stay and join the conversation on our social media platforms. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to share the link with your family and friends, and also get them to be a part of the show this morning. So we're talking about marketing this morning. If you're interested in that, please don't miss the conversation. Don't touch your dial. All right, so that will be all for our business brief segment this morning. Up next is Transport Today with Solomon Tetenate. Please stay tuned.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. Solomon Tetenate is seated and is ready to bring us transport today this morning. Solo, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Nee.
Charlie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm well too, by God's grace.
Yeah, we thank God for life.
All right, give us your updates for today.
All right, so it's time for transport today, and I'm taking through the local flight schedules for today, and that is Passion Air and then Africa World Airlines. And we also look at the traffic situation in town, and actually some stories actually trending in the aviation sector this morning. But let's start with the flight schedules for today. And as I said, we are starting with Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Passion Air Accra to Kumasi morning flight are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m. and 11:20 a.m. 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m. and 11:20 a.m. Afternoon flights are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. and then the evening flight is at 7:20 p.m. It takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now Accra to Takoradi Passion Air morning flight is at 6:20 a.m. and then afternoon flight is at 4:20 p.m. Morning flight 6:20 a.m. and then afternoon flight is at 4:20 p.m. and it takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Sunyani Passion Air has a Luan flight available for the day at 9:10 a.m. 9:10 a.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. Accra to Wa, there's no flight available for the day, so you should take note of that. Now Accra to Tamale Passion Air Accra to Tamale morning flight is at 6 a.m. and then afternoon flights are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. Morning flight 6 a.m. and then afternoon flights are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. and it takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination. So that's all for Passion Air. Now let's look at Africa World Airlines, how the air schedule also looks like today. So Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi morning flights are 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 9 a.m. 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 9 a.m. and then afternoon flights are 2:10 p.m. and 3:10 p.m. 2:10 p.m. and 3:10 p.m. and then the evening flight is at 7:40 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now Accra to Accra, the Africa World Airlines morning flight is at 6:40 a.m. and then after 6:40 a.m. and 11:20 a.m. and then afternoon flight is at 4:30 p.m. So morning flights are 6:40 a.m. and 11:20 a.m. and then afternoon flight is at 4:30 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes as well to get to your destination. Now Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale morning flight is at 6:30 a.m. and then afternoon flights are 1:40 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. 1:40 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. So that's all for the local flight schedules for today. Now let's look at the traffic situation in town, and today I'm coming to you from Dodua stretch, and currently there's traffic spotted at Amanfrum Health Center at Dodua, where the KFC is located. So you should take note of that if you are using that route, and that's around Amanfrum. There's traffic spotted at where the KFC is located. So you should take note of that if you are using the Dodua stretch at the moment. So that's the traffic update for you around that area. And also Amrahia school, community school, there's traffic spotted around that area, so you should also take note of that if you are at Amrahia, where the community school is located. There's traffic spotted around that area, so you should take note of that. So that's the traffic update for you around that area. And coming to Adenta Frafraha, there's traffic spotted at where the Mother Love Hospital is located, very close to the ICGC Holy Ghost Temple. So you should take note of that if you are using the Adenta Dodua Road at Amrehia, at Frafraha, heading towards the Mother Love Hospital. There's traffic spotted around that area. You should take note of that. And coming to Adenta Barrier, there's also traffic spotted at Adenta Barrier. Massive traffic spotted around that area, so you should take note of that. And the traffic actually starts from the Adenta Barrier all the way to Adenta SDA Church. So you should take note of that if you are using that route at the moment. And also Marina Supermarket, at Adenta Marina Supermarket, there's traffic spotted around that area, so you should also take note of that if you are heading towards the Zongo Junction, Madina Zongo Junction, right from Marina Supermarket. There's traffic spotted around that area, so you should take note of that. So that's the traffic update for you today. Now coming to Hachu Atomic Route, there's traffic spotted at the MTN office, Hachu branch, all the way to Transition. Massive traffic spotted on the stretch, and so you should take note of that if you are using the Hachu Atomic Route. There's traffic at MTN office, Hachu branch, all the way to Transition, so you should take note of that. So that will be all for the traffic update. Now let's look at some stories trending in the aviation sector this morning. So Ghana moves forward with plans for new national airline, and we are all aware the government of Ghana is set to publish a request of expression of interest in May 2026 for the establishment of a new national airline. This initiative is part of the country's broader strategy to enhance its aviation sector, promote tourism, and improve connectivity within the region and beyond. And in a significant shift from previous plans, Aviation Ghana sources with knowledge of a new initiative and final document before cabinet for approval confirmed that the strategic partnership in this venture will be required to hold a 75% stake in airline, while Ghana will retain a 25% ownership interest. And this partnership model aims to leverage the expertise and resources of experienced global players to ensure the airline success and sustainability. So the decision to allow a majority stake for the strategic partnership reflects Ghana's commitment to attracting foreign investment and fostering a competitive aviation market. So that's coming from Aviation Ghana. And also in a concerning prediction for Europe's aviation and tourism industry, Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary has raised alarms that up to 3 European airlines could go bankrupt this winter due to the increasing financial pressures brought on by rising jet fuel prices. So this warning, which highlights the fragility of the airline sector, has significantly implications for the tourism industry, particularly in some of Europe's most popular destinations, including France, Spain, and Italy. So these are the stories trending in the aviation sector this morning. And thank you, Rebi Hammond, for having me.
All right, thank you very much, Solomon, for bringing us transport today this morning. The show continues. This is the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Rebi Hammond. Thank you very much. We're going to get into our market trend segment shortly. Emmanuel Boateng, our in-house economic analyst, will be joining me for a very important conversation this morning. So please don't go anywhere. Stick and stay. You can engage us on our social media platforms. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to share the link with your family and friends, and also get them to be a part of the show this morning. Well, let's take a quick music break. When we return, we bring you market trends. Stay tuned.
Come on. Tessa, Opele Ache, Ekeka Chuchuta, Ulopanaku Opele Ache, Chimbolo, Opele Ache, Pomoni Oke Shake, Opele Ache, Wople Matessa, Opele Ache, Keja Chuchu, Ulopanaku Opele Ache. Imagine fair, but the boy I could see Joey. She won't be Joey. We shall take away John comfortable. You are the Lord strong and mighty. So you are worthy to be praised. They will not Hey, Namo Kato. Won't blame my somebody please for me give the Lord a bigger one?
101.9 FM. That was Bononi by Joe Metal, bringing us exactly 5 minutes after 8. And I've got some good news for you this morning. Let me share with you, and then we can continue the show. Well, if you're ready to step into your dream home, if you're ready to get into that dream home that you've been hoping and praying and wishing for, then Lakeside Estates has got an exclusive offer for you. Yes, with this offer, you can own your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment. So, and this offer gives you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. And you get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Yes. So your future awaits. Just imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. As your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. And all you have to do is to place a call to us today on 020-477-5042, 020-477-5042, 020-477-5040, 020-477-5040, or 0501418-622, 0501418-622. And don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and also schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estate, you say quality home for all. All right, so like I said, we're going to get into our market trend segment this morning shortly. Emmanuel Boating will be joining me for a very, very important conversation on the stock market. This morning we're turning our attention there, and we'll get into that conversation shortly. Keep enjoying this, and we'll be right back. 101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond, and that was You Are Best by Dan Hamilton. Well, right about now, we get into our market trend segment, and my our in-house economic analyst is on standby to have this conversation with me. Like I said, this morning we were turning our attention to the stock market. Now, we are seeing that the stock market is picking up strong momentum we're recording impressive gains. We recorded impressive gains last week, and the benchmark composite index rose by over 6%. While financial stocks led the rally with an even stronger performance. Trading activity also surged, with turnover jumping by more than 40%, a sign that the investor participation is returning to the markets. Now, interestingly, for the first time in weeks, trading is no longer being dominated by MTN Ghana alone. We're seeing that financial stocks are also beginning to take the lead. And in a major development, we know that Zen Petroleum Holdings made its debut on the exchange, gaining 9% in its first week of trading. So what exactly is driving this renewed optimism, and can this rally be sustained? And that's exactly what we are discussing this morning with Emmanuel Wating, our in-house economic analyst. Emma, good morning.
Good morning, Trevi. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing well too, by God's grace. Thanks so much for making time to join us this morning.
Sure, you're welcome.
All right. So, well, first of all, what exactly is driving the strong upward momentum we are seeing in the stock markets right now?
Thank you so much. And good morning to all our cherished listeners. The recent upward movement in the stock market appears to be influenced particularly by improving investor sentiment, increasing liquidity, and renewed interest in some stocks that are undervalued. Now, there has been a relatively quiet period, and of course, there came the bullish run. In addition to that, we saw a period, or we have seen a period where other alternative investments, for instance, the T-bills, were not giving investors the kind of returns they wanted. All of that played a major role. Investors are beginning to reposition their portfolios in anticipation of better corporate earnings and, of course, some level of macroeconomic stability. And so far, the Q1 results that I've seen for this year for some listed companies appears very, very good. And so the expectations of investors certainly will not be cut short. This has been not only that, there is also a technical factor at play. Many of the stocks that are listed on the Ghana stock market have actually been trading below their intrinsic value for some time. That is what we typically call undervaluation of their some stocks. Now, this is the situation. When you trade below your intrinsic value, and as an investor, I am aware, or I become aware of that. I've done my technical analysis, and I come to that conclusion. The real implication is that in no time, your actual value will come to bear. So if your present value or your current value, let me use current value because present value will mean something else. Your current value will say 10 cedis per share. But your actual value should be 15 cedis per share. Then I'm going to buy that stock today in anticipation that its actual value, would pop up in the shortest possible time.
Right.
So that when that happens, I would have made my theoretical gain. And so that creates some level of opportunity for bargain hunting, especially among institutional investors who are looking for medium-term gains. And once a few stocks, begin to move upward, usually it often triggers a broader rally. Additionally, I think the improving macroeconomic backdrop is also playing a role. the easing inflation and relative stability of the currency, is supporting the growing confidence. Here's the point. When the broader economy shows signs of stabilization, equities become more attractive as a growth asset compared to fixed income instruments, which is exactly what we have seen in the past few months. So this rally reflects a mix of fundamentals, a mix of valuation corrections, and improved sentiment, rather than merely a single isolated factor.
I see. So it's a mix of factors. But I see that the GSE Composite Index rose over 6% in a week. How significant is this in the broader market context?
Thank you very much. 6% week-on-week gain in the market index is quite significant, especially in a relatively small and less volatile market like the Ghana Stock Exchange. And such a move is a clear indication, of strong buying pressure and a coordinated upward movement across multiple stocks, rather than gains by a single company. Say MTN alone is the one that is causing it. But no, we are seeing multiple stocks listed on the exchange driving this momentum. Now, in context, weekly gains of this magnitude are not very common and often signal a turning point in market sentiment. It also suggests that investors are becoming more optimistic and are willing to take on more risk. And this is very, very important in markets that have experienced periods of stagnation. But I think it's also important that we interpret this data very carefully and pretty more cautiously. Sharp increases can sometimes be followed by short-term contractions. I'm sure if you're an active investor on the stock market, this is no news to you. We saw the bullish run in January, bullish run in February, then March, bloodbath, all red. I'm sure investors do remember this. And in the month of April, we've been seeing a mixture of greens and reds. So sometimes when the bullish run goes overboard, the short-term corrections will show up. And I believe that is essentially the point that I'm making. Because you see that, the market has been bullish. Investors will start taking profits. They will sell out their positions, and that translates into profits for them. And that typically will put a downward pressure on the stock price, causing it to fall. And that is why we usually see bearish runs. That's why I keep saying that if the market is bearish, there is a fundamental question that must be answered. What is driving this bearish trend? Is it because investors are taking their profits, or it is because these companies' fundamentals does not support the intrinsic value we do see? So we shouldn't panic. Investors should not panic when the market is bearish, because most often than not, it is profit taking. Give it time, and it will rebound. And I'm sure many investors would have seen the rebound that may have happened with some of the stocks, even the bearish period that we all experience. So the key question is whether the underlying fundamentals support sustained growth. That is a question we must answer. And I think the rise is meaningful because it is supported by increased trading activity and broader participation, and it makes it more than just a temporary strike. I think it goes beyond a temporary spike. It is well beyond that.
I see. Very interesting thing also here is that the financial stocks are leading the rally. What explains that the renewed strength we are seeing in that as well, in the banking sector equities?
Well, financial stocks, here we are speaking about the banks and the insurance companies. And they are usually often the first to respond to improving economic conditions. I'm sure we can all understand the role that the financial system plays in every economy, because that is the backbone of the economy. banks benefit directly from increased economic activity because you know what? We are going to take, if we get more money, we're going to deposit it in the bank. You see that? And so they would see one of the earliest benefits. Yes, we'll buy airtime, MTN will benefit, but how often? Would it change because our incomes have gone up? Not really.
Right.
So, I mean, that is just by the way, just a way to drum the point home, you know.
Yeah.
And that benefit that the banks get when economic activity improves actually improves the asset quality of the banks and as well better credit performance. In the case of Ghana, the banking sector is actually recovering from the effect of the domestic debt exchange program, the DDEP as we popularly call it. As balance sheets stabilize and confidence returns, investors are beginning to re-enter financial stock, anticipating improved profitability.
Okay.
And that is broadly what we see. There is also a valuation story here. Many banking stocks had been significantly discontinued due to earlier uncertainties. Not many, some, a few, maybe ADB and the rest of them. You know, as those risks begin to fade, investors will see an opportunity to buy into fundamentally strong institutions at relatively low prices. So the leadership of financial stocks, I think it both reflects recovery expectations and value-driven investor, sentiment.
I see, but also trading volume jumped by over 40%. And I'm curious to know whether this signals a return of investor confidence in the market. Is that what we are saying?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Yes, I think the surge in trading volume is one of the clearest indicators of returning investor confidence. Trust me, price increases alone can sometimes be misleading. But when they are accompanied by higher volumes, it suggests genuine market participation. You see, a higher turnover means more investors are entering the market, both buyers and sellers alike, which ultimately improves liquidity and price discovery. And that is very crucial for long-term health of the market. And it also signals that investors are not just passively holding assets, but actively reallocating their capital. And this kind of activity often precedes sustained market growth. So the volume increases strengthens the case that the current rally is broad-based and supported by real demand, not just speculative trading.
I see. But, for weeks, MTN Ghana dominated trading. But now we are seeing that the finance sector is taking lead. How important is that particular shift as well?
Thank you. For a long time, trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange has been heavily concentrated. I mean, 90% and in excess of that. In a few large capitalized stocks or, large cap stocks, as we will call it, particularly MTN Ghana. While this provides stability, and maybe at the end, I'll try and give the market capitalization of the stocks on the exchange. When I'm done with this question, maybe just as a reminder so that I don't forget, it's important that sometimes our listeners have a clear view of how some of these key indicators are on the market. And I would be very happy to share that, So the market capitalization of the various stocks. And like I said, MTN is the highest stock with the highest market capitalization, about 86.04 billion Ghana cedis. So while it provides some stability, it also limits market depth and diversification. And the recent shift where the financial sector now accounts for a larger share of traded volume, it's a positive development, trust me. It indicates that investor interest is spreading across different sectors, and that makes the market more balanced. And this broadening, of participation enhances the resilience of the market. Because when multiple sectors contribute to growth, the market becomes less vulnerable to shocks after any single company or industry.
Right.
In essence, this shift represents a healthier and more mature market structure, which is attractive to both local and foreign investors.
So, I mean, as we're seeing that it's not concentrated in just one side, on one stock like MTN, it's actually it's better.
And just so that I don't forget, let me run our listeners through the market capitalization. And don't be surprised if you see the numbers are appearing a bit funny as I move on. MTN's market capitalization is 86.04 billion Ghana cedis. Of course, all the figures I'll quote are in Ghana cedis, so I will not repeat that.
Right.
This will be the second highest capitalized stock on the market or company on the market. It's EcoBank. MTN is 86. EcoBank is 15.77 billion. Look at the variance between the top. Very huge. The next is Ghana Commercial, GCB Bank. Yeah, 11.26. The next, Standard Chartered Bank, 9.72. The next, Agricultural Development Bank, 8.4 billion. The next, Access Bank, 5.29 billion. I'm sure you've heard banks 5 times consecutively, 5 banks after MTN. Then you come to Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited, 4.67 billion. After that, you go to Societe Generale, 4.52 billion. Then you come to Cowbank, 3.94 billion. Then Total Energies Marketing Ghana, Company Limited, 3.87 billion. Then you go to Zen Petroleum Limited. I'm sure you mentioned earlier, and I'm sure it will feature in our discussion. It just got listed last Wednesday, but it has beaten some particular stocks on the exchange. Zen is capitalized at 3.56 billion. Then you come to GOIL, Ghana Oil Company Limited, 7.92 billion. 3.2 billion. It is actually trading at 7.92 cedis. Sorry. And then Benz Oil Palm follows, 2.96 billion. Then First Atlantic Bank, 2.96 billion too. EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, 2.92 billion. Republic Bank Ghana Limited, 2.77 billion. Unilever Ghana Limited, 1.79 billion. Then Enterprise Group, that is an insurance company, 1.72. Farm Milk, 1.32. SIC Insurance, 958.4 million Ghana cedis. Talo Oil, 850 million. Atlantic Lithium, 705.9 million. Trust Bank Limited, The Gambia, 480 million Ghana cedis. New Gold ETF, 300 million Ghana cedis. Asante Gold Corporation, 250 million. Cocoa Processing Company, 244 million. Anglo Gold Ashanti, 200 million. Mega African Capital Limited, 51.7 million. Standard Chartered Preference Shares, that is valued at 50 million Ghana cedis. Clydestone Limited, 49.4 million. Samba Foods Limited, 30 million. Aluex Limited, 23 million. Intravenous Industries Limited, 13.7. Horts Limited, 11.5. Digicoat is 10.7. Meridian Marshalls is 9.6. Produce Buying Company Limited, this is attached to the cocoa sector, 9.6. Danex Iton Starwin PLC, 8.6. Anglo Gold Ashanti Depository, 5 million. Camelot Ghana, 956,000 Ghana cedis. That is the least capitalized company. So I've taken you through, and you can clearly see the dominance MTN has when it comes to market capitalization. Market capitalization. Quite incredible. And this is what accounts for, a few things about our market, tells us the strength of our market. That is why some of us are arguing that there are some strong companies in this country that ought to be listed on the stock market. Very important.
I see, but why is MTN leading like that? Why is it dominating trading?
Well, I think the key question we need to ask is, what you mean is their market capitalization, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the key question is, what is market capitalization? As used when we are talking about stock market and the rest of them. That is essentially the total value of a company's outstanding shares or the sum of its long-term funds, So you look at your total outstanding shares, then you multiply it by the current market price. So it is the outstanding shares which usually makes the difference. You see that. Imagine, I'm just giving a scenario. If MTN's current share price even gets to 10, it's going to be big. Because some of the companies like EcoBank and all, their share price is in the 40s. EcoBank is 48 cedis. GCB is 42 cedis. Standard Chartered, 71 cedis. In fact, Benzo Oil, I think it has the highest price, 85 cedis, but 2.9 billion. Look at ETI, just 2 cedis, but 2.9 billion. So you can understand. In fact, let me take Cowbank. It's 91 pesos, but 3.9 billion. Imagine if Cowbank comes to 5 cedis, things would change. So this explains, this explains why capitalization appears that way.
I see. You talked about Zen Petroleum. We saw that, the listing of that saw a 9% gain in the first week, which is quite interesting. What does that tell us about the appetite for new listings?
Well, thank you so much. A very important question. And of course, even at its IPO, it was overly oversubscribed. And it's a strong debut of Zen Petroleum Holdings, because with a 9% gain in its first week, and in fact, even yesterday, it's appreciated again by about 3% or so. I believe Zen went up yesterday again. Year to date, Zen Petroleum is doing about 10%, I believe. It's very bullish so far. It started at 5 cedis per share. It's now trading at 5 cedis 56 pesos per share. So that is the explanation that is where I am giving to it. Now, you see, that is a reflection of investor appetite for new listings. It suggests that there is a pent-up demand for fresh investment opportunities on the exchange. The IPO, which is the initial public offering, often serves as a litmus test for market sentiment. A positive reception indicates that investors are willing to commit capital to new ventures, which is a strong vote of confidence in the market. It also highlights the importance of diversification. Now, as new companies list, they provide investors with more options and, of course, reduce the concentration risk of investors. And that can attract a broader range of participants, including institutional investors. And overall, I think Zen's performance signals a revival of primary activity, which is essential for long-term market growth. Now we have options, and we have Zen. At least, Goil 2000,
Yeah.
And it is a big holding. It includes many things, not just oil, by the way.
I see, but what would you say is actually driving the rally? Is it more? Let me rephrase. So, is it driven by local investors or institutional investors? Are you able to tell?
Well, when you look at the rally, the nature of the rally is likely institutional investors. pension funds, asset managers, and the rest of them, they have the capacity to move markets due to the size of their investment. Individual investors, how much do you really have? 200 shares, 1,000 shares, 300 shares, 5,000 shares, and the like. These institutional investors, they are the market movers. They hold significant of the company's assets or shares, and that is why I believe they are the ones. They have the capacity to move the market due to the size of their investment particularly. They can lead market recoveries because they are better positioned to access long-term value and take advantage of undervalued assets. And their participation adds stability and credibility to the market. But I must also say that retail investors often lead market also maybe rebalancing and re-entering the market, especially because I'm sure you've seen that as the market was getting bullish, even your friends, someone put something on X that if you go and trim your hair and the barber is talking to you about stocks, that is the day that you should sell your stocks. Because what has the barber got to do with?
What do you
with
mean?
Stocks. I got somebody's comment on X, so it's not my comment.
But since you are re-echoing it, but anyway.
Oh yes, I'm saying that because I'm going to make the point that it explains how widespread the bullish run on the stock market went. Almost everybody all of a sudden became interested, and when I say everybody, and that is not to say some are better placed than others, but to make the point that not every single Ghanaian is interested about investment. And of course, when you look at the data, the literacy rate, Ghanaians know very little about the stock market. In fact, Ghanaians don't even understand the dynamics and the nuances in there. If you take the stock market and the T-bill market, they love the T-bill market. That is a fact, So that was the point I was going to make. And as individual, retail investors re-enter the market because of the increasing prices, or as it were, the bullish run, the positive sentiment. It adds on to what the institutional investors are doing, and it's ideal for sustained growth. So the rally appears to be institutional-led. But of course, there is some little support from the retail side as well.
I see. All right. Anyway, our time is almost up, and so we'll touch on a few things and then we can go. But how sustainable would you say this momentum is? Are we seeing a short-term rally or maybe the start of a longer bullish trend?
Too early to call. It's like the U.S. elections, right? Too early to call. At this stage, that is what I believe. It's too early to definitely classify the rally as a long-term bullish trend. However, I think several indicators suggest it could have staying power. And these include rising volumes, broader participation, improving macroeconomic conditions. That said, generally, markets often experience short-term rallies within longer periods of adjustment. Profit-taking, external shocks, policy changes, all of these could lead to temporary pullbacks. And that is why it's always important to understand and explain why a stock price is falling. Is it falling because of the company's fundamentals, or there is a downward pressure in the price, on the price? What I mean is people are taking profit, they are selling their position to be able to take advantage of the capital gains they made over the period. It's very, very important to understand that. Very, very, very important. The key determinant will be whether corporate earnings and economic fundamentals continue to improve. If they do, the rally could evolve into a sustained upward trend. But for now, it is best described as a promising recovery phase with potential for longer-term growth. I'm sure in basic school you heard the headmaster, the class teacher saying that, this student has a promising future, and perhaps nothing was said to you. But today, Oh, Nisha, it's not you. I'm not talking about you.
Right. I know you're talking to our audience. I know.
Why are you worried?
I'm not worried.
I'm speaking to the general audience.
Right, sure.
But it looks like you want it to be you.
No.
Okay. But the point even is that today, you look at yourself and you look at that promising student, and it appears as though you are the promised one. So this is just what I mean. If the fundamentals should improve for the company, the economy should work well, then indeed we can say the momentum is promising, the long-term sustained growth is likely, highly likely.
I see. All right. But what risks do you think will derail this positive outlook in the equity market?
Oh, global economic slowdown, external shocks, commodity price volatility. All of this could affect investor sentiment. Domestically, we can talk about inflationary pressure, currency instability. All of that could reduce the attractiveness of equity. See, if interest rates rise significantly, investors may shift back to fixed income instruments. And there is also the risk of overvaluation. If prices rise too quickly without corresponding improvement in fundamentals, I think the market could correct sharply, So while the outlook is positive, it remains fragile and dependent on both domestic and global conditions.
I see. So for the ordinary investor listening to us this morning, is this a good time to enter the stock market, or is it? If it isn't, tell us. If it is, to let us know. But if it is, where should they look?
You still haven't caught what I'm laughing.
You don't want to give investment advice.
Why are you saying it that way? Let me just say that I'm not licensed to give any advice to investors. Whatever I'm saying is for educational purpose. Every single person, based on what I say, should do their own research as well before they are able to make a decision properly. But literally, the point is this: the condition we see now, and at every point in time in the market, it's a time of opportunity and risk.
Right.
And you can take advantage of the opportunities. Once the prices are rising, then that's an indication that the market may continue to do well in the near term. However, you should also avoid chasing short-term gains. Don't be buying a stock because it is always green. That is wrong timing, actually. In fact, buy when it is red, but not merely because it is red, but because the fundamentals of that company support a buy decision.
Okay.
Buy when it is green, not because it is bullish, but because the fundamentals of the company support a buy decision. So your decision to buy, essentially, based on what I just said, is not because it is red or green, but because the fundamentals of that company support a buy decision.
I see. Okay, Ima, thank you very much. Really grateful for your time this morning. Thanks for sharing your insights with us as well.
Thank you for accepting my summarized answer to the last question. And thank you.
I didn't want to go further because of our time. But anyway, I'm really grateful. Grateful to you. All right, please do enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Okay, so that was Iwan Boateng, in-house economic analyst, and he joined us this morning. We've been talking about the stock market, or the equities market as we call it, and we've seen very interesting things happening in there. And Iman was giving some comments on that. If you missed any part of the conversation, you are free to visit our social media platforms, and then you get to play it back. Feel free. We're on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please visit those platforms and play it back. But you can also engage us. I'm here to read your messages for you and also do you the honors of reading your birthday wishes as well. So feel free to send them to me. You can also send me a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, and I'll read your messages for you this morning. Please don't go anywhere. Stick and stay. We'll get into our roundtable discussion. Today we're talking about data in marketing. If you're a shop owner, you're a business owner, you are a marketing professional, anybody at all who is concerned about their business and progress in terms of marketing, you need to tune into this conversation. How do you go about it? How do you handle data? How do you even get data to be able to make informed decisions? Because that is where the world has said that we're in a data-driven world, and that's why we're having this conversation this morning. So please don't go anywhere. Stick and stay. We'll get into all of that right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. Enjoy this one, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Zed Multimedia Online. Don't forget. Welcome to Zed Multimedia Online. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials on TikTok at Zed Multimedia, LinkedIn at Zed Multimedia, YouTube, Zed TV, IDX, and Facebook at ZFMGH. Do enjoy this video.
Very important. I mean, we're asking a very simple but important question. Are businesses truly using data to grow, or are we still relying on guesswork? Now, we live in a world where every click, every purchase, and every interaction leaves a trail. Data has become one of the most important tools in marketing. But having data is one thing, and knowing what to do with it is another. And so this morning, we're exploring how businesses in Ghana can move from instinct to insight, and from effort to effectiveness. And that is what we're talking about. My guest is David Maunya. I hope I got that. Yes, David Kwesi Maunya. He is a marketing manager at ANC More, and he joins me in studio for this conversation this morning. Dave, good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, I
Good
hope
to
all
be
is
back
well.
here again. Yes. All
Yeah.
is well by God's
Yeah.
grace. We thank God. Yeah.
Great. Good to have you.
Thank you.
We're talking about data-driven marketing. Marketing using data and the role of data in marketing, really. But first of all, let's start from basic stuff. When we say data-driven marketing, what are we talking about?
So, data-driven marketing is simply just it is what we define as taking marketing decisions based on insights.
Okay.
So the thing about marketing, which a lot of people don't realize is it keeps evolving. All right. It's a very sensitive and very dynamic industry. So therefore, you cannot always rely on a sixth sense or rely on some instinct. Marketing is not possible without data. And being able to be successful with any marketing campaign at all, you need data. It's the foundation. It's the very life. It's the very breath of every marketing campaign. So marketing without data, really, it's of no essence. It's of no use. So that's just basically what data-driven marketing means. It means running your marketing campaigns, running all your ads, taking initiatives based on data.
Now, if you say, when you say data is evolving and because of that, you cannot rely on instincts, can you give like a typical example, in your line of work or maybe any that you've seen around?
So, for instance, years back, we had just a few platforms, even as what we call social media. I remember back in the day, we came up with what's it called? Before there was Facebook, there was this social media platform. What's it called? High Five.
High Five, right?
You remember High Five?
Yeah, I remember High Five.
Yes. So let me just give a classic example. Look, High Five. The guys who did High Five, then eventually Facebook came in, and then based on data, obviously, saw what High Five had done.
Yeah.
And then improving upon it, came out with Facebook. Okay.
Yeah.
Now take those two situations. We are in a world now where there's TikTok now. There's and it will surprise you the number of things or the number of reach that those platforms are doing. They're doing amazing work, right? So that simply is just what it has become. Now, a lot of companies, even the tech companies, right? Data is like gold mine now. So all these platforms, all these technologies that are coming out, you'll realize that their major drive is to get data. AI, right? AI, what we have now as AI is mainly solely data driven. It's just picking data and picking patterns, and then for a machine to be able to learn, right, and be able to emulate what any other person could do. And this is solely driven on data. So for me, anyone who is still relying on, or any business who's still relying on instincts to run their campaigns or ads is really not going anywhere at the moment. Yeah.
I see. But across Ghana, or do you think that most Ghanaian businesses are doing that? Are they relying on data, or we are still in that instinct-driven marketing age?
Well, per what we know now in the industry, it's we'd say about 15% of businesses are really relying on data.
15.
And yes, and when I say that, what I mean is that they are not taking the full advantage of data.
Okay.
Look, it's not enough to just get the data and have it sitting. I realize a lot of businesses, what they do is, okay, so let's take, for example, you have a database of consumers or potential consumers, you may say. And you see people just using it as, okay, let me just send SMS blast to these numbers, or let me just send bulk emails, and that is it. There is a deeper version of it where you are looking into the patterns of these people, these consumers. Because now, you know, consumers have a lot of options. So day in, day out, their tastes are changing, their awareness, the way they consume information is changing. Everything is changing every minute.
Right.
So it's very important for you to not really have that data available and say, oh, I have 10,000 people in my database. That's not enough. Out of that 10,000 people you have in your database, what percentage of them engage through this particular platform?
Right.
What percentage of them attention span is for this long? What percentage of them would actually jump to an opportunity? So it's not just enough having the data and letting it sit in some Excel sheets, and then as and when you want to run a campaign, you just blast an SMS. That there's a lot of things that we could do with data that a lot of the SMEs are not taking advantage of, and I think that is mainly what is driving people to, first of all, waste money and not be efficient enough in terms of the kind of campaigns they run, and even how they target their consumers, all right, and how they profile their consumers. All those things are very important when you have data and when you take full advantage of that data you have sitting in your data warehouse, if I may say.
But the 15% you talk about that are using the data, are they getting it right? I mean, from your experience, are they getting it right? Or
and that's what I'm even saying, that even that percentage, they are not taking the full advantage of the data.
What does taking full advantage look like?
So taking full advantage is learning the patterns, learning the processes, learning the people. It's very important. So it will be good for you to study from time to time how people evolve in terms of their tastes. Okay. What used to work 5 years ago or 2 years ago definitely will not work now. How do you reach people? What's the fastest medium, right? What gets people's attention? It will surprise you to know that even these days, our old folks, you realize they are posting TikTok videos, right, on their status. They are doing all these things. So one may sit back and say, look, the old people are traditional people, right? So they may not necessarily consume information online, but it might surprise you to know the number of people that you are missing out on when you don't try and reach them through that. I'll take myself as an example. I have been there. My mom has sent me some things on TikTok, and
Me too.
And I'm even surprised, right? They will tell you, "Oh, I saw this thing on TikTok. I saw this thing on Facebook. I saw this thing here. I saw this thing here." So really, this tells you that you can no longer rely on the old as we know it, or the instincts, or that myth of, look, the old folks, they don't consume technology. The old folks are not like this. Again, back to my mom is calling me from wherever to come to her house and update an app for her because she wants to be current, right? She still wants to be there. So for me, it's just still really, and there's no ruling out on any consumer. Every consumer has some kind of feedback to give. And that is the data that you need to rely on to be able to couch your campaigns and your ads and all your marketing projects.
I see. So, I mean, your example that you gave is tailored towards the older folks. Are there certain things that we used to rely on instincts when it comes to young people that today has changed? And it might cut across maybe their demographics or stuff like that. Any of those things that you want to share?
Yes. So even the young folks now, like I said again, you don't even have to move to a shop if you want to buy something, right? You're sitting in the comfort of your home and deals are being thrown at you, offers are being thrown at you. This is what it has become now. People have options. Even the young demographic of today, let me just try and limit the conversation to that. We have options. We are able to decipher, all right? We have wider networks. We call people. We look for recommendations, right? People are online all the time. They need something, they just go on Google. Hey, how can I find this? Or they go on Instagram and they just type in a keyword. All these things are really driven by data. And as a business, you can only be successful when you keep evolving in that space of taking data. All right? What this consumer like today, by next week, he may not like that same thing. He may be looking for another option. Or he may be looking for a better value. How are you able to assess those needs of this consumer who you transacted with just last week? How do you know that he's still interested in this product as at this week, right? You hear a lot of people, I see a lot of people online, people come and make inquiries on their pages and they are still waiting for them to place their order and nothing ever happens, right? So does it occur to such a person that, oh, maybe you need to look into something. Maybe that person has gotten a better value elsewhere. Right? Maybe you need to get back to the person and get more feedback. Right? You see people posting, I'm here still waiting for your orders.
Please
right?
patronize me.
Please patronize me. It's not enough to just have a social media page, just sitting there and have a number of followers. I mean, how many businesses even do a month-on-month audit on their followers? Do you, for instance, just come up with a poll or something just to engage your audience, just to find out what are some of the issues, just to find out what some of their likes are, just to find out where they are gearing towards? And I think that's very important, because it's not enough to just have a number of followers on Instagram or a number of followers on Twitter engage you. It's also important that you engage them as well, get feedback from them, and take insights, right, which will help you to shape up your business. All these things, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of data and all this. Yeah.
Right. So data is very important. Now, you talked about some of the mistakes that people are making, and you talked about thinking that, okay, the same way the person, or this particular group of people approach things some years back is the same way they are approaching things now. And that is in line with the fact that people are not taking advantage of the data that they have. What other mistakes are people making or businesses making in their quest to use data?
I think the other big issue, apart from not taking full advantage of the data, is even how they gather the data. I think that's another huge mistake too. Now, a lot of people, first of all, miss the whole issue of who my target really is. Okay. Really, that is what's important for your business. Okay. Now, if you're not able to even identify your demographic, if you're not able to identify who you are providing the service to, then that data will not be relevant to you anyway. Right. Because and this is the thing about segmentation and profiling of customers. You need to have enough information on customers to be able to align them to what your business provides. Okay, it's very important as a business to be able to know that you don't mismatch those two things. Okay. Who your target is, what you are providing. And definitely when you have your target, they are those that will provide the relevant data to you, right? And so it's very important that we realize that in the case where someone cannot afford my business or cannot afford my service, I don't have any business even trying to get any information from them anyways. Okay. So it's very important for us to do a lot of profiling. I think that's that's the biggest mistake that a lot of businesses do, to profile the customers.
Let's stay on that for a few minutes. So how often should a business be profiling? Is this something that you do once and then you watch things play out, or you do?
So I think as a business, ideally, you should be profiling your customers at least after every 3 months. Is very ideal for you to profile and reprofile. Let me put it that way, because again, like I said, customers' tastes might change. They might have recommendations from other places. They may have been visiting other platforms. They may have seen better offers. So it's very important to sort of get in there and do your profile and reprofiling. I think 90 days is enough time, especially if you have engaged with the customer for more than once or twice. I think it makes sense to keep on going back and doing that and do that profiling. It's very important also that after every purchase or after every transaction with the customer, be it service or product, you try and get feedback. That also helps you to sort of create an engagement pool or a channel where you can always, have some sort of interaction with the customer, which is very good. So for me, I think, and it's something that you could decide to even do more often than not, especially when you know the kind of customer that you're dealing with, or when you know that your product is a mass product or a mass service. It's very important for you to do more frequent profiling, just to make sure that you are retaining that customer. And all that, again, your aim should be getting the relevant data. the right data from the right customer is what will help your business grow.
Yeah. I see. Right. So you talked about profiling. You were about to talk about other mistakes.
Yes. So profiling, and then also, like I mentioned, just having the data in a storehouse is actually the other big mistake that we do. Now, there's also the need for you to be able to segment that data, right? Create pools that make, so when I say pools, I mean create sections of that data that makes it easy for you to break down, right? It will not make sense for you to take some data of someone who really is not, or have the data sitting there in a larger category when you can break them down in order to, sort of segregate and know what exactly you are going to achieve from that research. Is also very important, because the other thing I realized about Ghanaians in general is Ghanaians don't like questionnaires. They don't like filling a lot of questionnaires and you give them a form and everything. So it's important that as a business owner or as an SME who's looking to mine data, you go to, you make them as easy as possible for people to just jump along. It will surprise you too that just observing, sometimes you don't even need to go the formal way. Just making observations and just having an informal conversation with your targets could also give you that. And I think the other thing too that we haven't really done as a society is actually to buy data. I think a lot of people don't invest in buying data, which is very important.
What do they do in place of that? They try to get their own data from scratch?
Try to get their own data from scratch. And for that as well, you may need some kind of, depending on what you're into, you may need some kind of professional service. So I think it's important to invest in data. Then the other thing too that
Sorry, all the things you've mentioned so far, I know you want to talk about one more, but I want to just chip in this question. So do you see that amongst big businesses or SMEs, or like what are the segments?
I think this segment is this particular is for SMEs. Actually, I think SMEs don't really invest in buying data or invest in data per se. We understand that as a small business, you want to go with your instincts. You want to save as much as you can. But it's very important to also invest in data. It doesn't necessarily mean go and buy all the data in the world or buy the big data. You could start from segments. You could talk to people. You could get research companies. So there are many ways we can look at this. And I think the other thing too that businesses need to be conscious of, which also then goes back to the consumer. Look, everyone in releasing data is concerned about one thing: protection. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving you my data. I'm giving you some relevant information. How do I know that I'm protected? And I think that is also one mistake that a lot of companies don't do. Sometimes you find that you just start receiving strange SMS from numbers you don't even recognize, right? And so it becomes very hard for consumers to also open up and provide whatever information that SMEs may need to better cater to them. I think in a few cases where then you're able to trust the brand you are dealing with. But all in all, data protection is also something that businesses need to invest in. Once you are going out for data, you are going to get consumers' insights, especially when it's sensitive information. You need to assure them that, look, your data is safe, it's protected with us. Yeah.
I see. But at what point should a business move away from the guesswork, to what we are talking about, to actually get into data?
I think even before a business starts, it shouldn't be based on guesswork.
but what
so from the very beginning, you need data. You cannot start a business without analyzing what your projections would be, what the environment or what the conditions require from you. So I think even before a business starts, you need that data.
What kind of data does a business need at the beginning?
So in the beginning, of course, you need data on your customers. Look, first of all, is your service required? Will people come for it? Will people buy it, first of all?
No, we'll leave it to God. Nobody knows tomorrow.
People start businesses, and it's like, okay, I had a dream, which is all fine and good.
Yeah.
But it's very important for you to gain some direction, and you can only gain that direction through data. So you need to you need to do research. You need to find out in your industry who are your competitors, right? Who are you going against?
Yeah.
And even a lot of businesses miss out on who they are even serving, right? And they start out the businesses and they totally miss who their target market is. And that is the first downfall of every business. Once you miss your target markets, once you don't know the market you are serving, then you're not in business. So I think even before you start a business, you need to have that mindset of starting it based on the data that you've collected. Otherwise, then it doesn't make sense to even start at all. So it's important for us to start the business based on data. That we've collected, projections. What do the clients need?
Okay.
Right? Am I able to provide that service? Can I start small? Can I start big? You know, who are my competitors? What are some of the factors that are going to go against me? What are some of the government policies that I can take advantage of? Or what kind of policies would not favor me? So it's important for businesses that even before you start, you need data. So needless to say, even after you started, you need data to keep it to sustain it.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you even run a business, you need to be getting some data to support the decisions that you make. All right. So just hold on for me. Let me announce the phone lines in case anybody wants to join the conversation. You are free to join us if you want to drop a comment, you want to ask a question, or you want to contribute to the conversation we're having this morning. This morning we're talking, if you just joined, we're talking about the importance of data in marketing strategies. And we're talking with David Kwesi Maunya. Maunya. He is a marketing manager at ANC Mall, and he's in studio with me having this conversation. Feel free to send me your WhatsApp messages on 0544321019, 0544321019. Or you can also call me on that number, or call me on 03039566641, 03039566641. And I'll give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us this morning. If you have questions, feel free. You can call us and let us hear from you. Also, you can engage us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook at ZFMGH, on Facebook ZFMGH, and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please feel free to drop a comment under the live stream as well, and we'll read them for you and address them as we go on with our conversation this morning. So, David, let's continue the conversation. Yep. So, now we've talked about some of the challenges, mistakes, and all of that. Now let's turn to some of the basic tools that people can actually invest in or use to be able to collect data or make maybe we can talk about tools or platforms and all of that people or small businesses can use to start using, or can actually start using immediately to be able to get data, from what we're talking about.
So I think obviously the first place to run to for data is the internet. I mean, there's a lot of quality data. When I say quality, I mean, verified data on the internet that small business can take advantage of. We could also just do surveys. You could use, there are a lot of free surveys also that we can take advantage of. We have social media platforms, Facebook, the analytics, right? Those are all sort of free tools that give you some sort of insight or give you some relevant data to an extent. So social media platforms, surveys, and of course the internet also. And then also you could just, talk to people who are already in the field, the industry. Those that have the experience. I think it's important too that you sort of eat from their brains, what they know along the years, what they can also tell you.
Right.
Is very important. Some to like to invest in in focus group discussions. I think those two are very important tools to gather, just gather people with the same common interest and sort of engage them. That gives you some quality data as well. And then also, I think basically the surveys and online verified information. And there are some government agencies actually who have relevant data. It might surprise you to know. When you go to the office of the Registrar General, they do have some data that you can take advantage of. There are business associations that are, that have businesses registered under them. They also have a lot of data. And I'm sure a lot of people who are into technology as well, if given the right frameworks, they can also help support small businesses with data. So yeah, I think those are some of the tools that every small business can really take advantage of.
Right. But can a business, actually, in real practical terms, okay, no, let me just ask it this way. So for somebody who is not tech savvy, because some of the things that you're saying for people that are tech savvy, somebody who has started a small business, they don't really know a lot of things. What do they do?
Yeah, so like I'm saying, I think some of the surveys, and survey doesn't have to be formal per se. For anyone who's also in the informal sector, you can just do a simple survey by just interacting with people and talking with people, and just trying to engage them. So you could do surveys, you could do focus group discussions, like I said, and because those ones, they are not really formal ways of getting data. So focus group discussions, surveys, informal conversations, just to be able to draw out the piece of data that you need from people. And it is drawing out data also, like I say, it's as important as how you collect the data, how you turn it into something that benefits you. Because the other thing about data is people just collect data. There's a need for you to be able to tally all the data, so that it makes sense for you as a business person. So it's one thing that we also need to be very watchful of as SMEs and as small businesses.
Right. You didn't talk about social media insights. I know you were saving that for later. We can talk about the likes, comments, and all of those things. How can you use that data to make right decisions?
I think in today's social media world, you realize that, and I see this happening a lot. People actually sometimes sort of buy platforms from other people, or buy pages from other people, accounts from other people, and they say, "Oh, okay, I have this number of followers, and this people engage." Some people even go to the extent of, when they're running campaigns, right? They go to the extent of getting serial people to engage and like and comment on certain posts, right? Now, for those comments and those likes, it is very important for us. And again, this goes back to the conversation of demographic. All right. First of all, these people you are dealing with, do they really fall within your customer base, or do they really fall within the people that you are serving? And I think that is where you also need to be able to draw the line. You need to be able to do some sifting and realize that these are actually people that I'm looking for. These are actually people that I want to work with. Thankfully, for all these platforms, they have the option of choosing what demographic you are trying to advertise to. So I think it's very important to start the conversation from there. Okay, when you are using social media platforms, when you are taking insights, first of all, what demographic are you looking at? If the demographic that is responding to you is outside of what you're looking for, then it won't make sense to your business. So you need to be able to sort of alienate that demographic from the general demographic, from the demographic that actually benefits your business. Now, even when you do that separation, that general demographic could also be a potential customer for you. So it's important. That's why I'm saying it's important for you to segment all these things. Okay, who are you readily serving? Who is priority right now for you? Who are you looking at long-term relationships with? Who do you want to retain?
Right.
All those things are possible when you are able to go through the right data streams and sort of segment your data so it makes sense to your business. Yeah.
So I was asking about the likes and the comments and the shares and how that can be used to make real business decisions. I don't know if you can run us through.
So likes, comments, and shares, I think, well, at least that goes into some form of engagement. So you would want to maybe pick up the conversation from there. Someone is sharing your things online. They probably like what you do, or they probably are looking to do some sort of recommendation to other people.
Right.
So then that person automatically becomes part of your people that you'd want to advertise to. Is either they are buying from you, or they are being what we call brand ambassador without appointment. They are deciding to just share for you because they like your product. Yeah. So I think that also is very encouraging for businesses. Look, it's satisfying to know that, okay, at least when you post something, people are interested to engage. People want to know more, and that becomes an opportunity for you to then sell more. That also gives you because based on the pattern, that also gives you, the business, an idea of who and how they respond to the things that you post.
Yeah.
Okay, so that there's someone who would even maybe like and later come back to come and purchase or to patronize from you. But the most important thing is you wouldn't want to do away with all those people. You'd still want to keep them in a place, in a data warehouse or whatever it is. But it's important to always segment that data and then, sort of draw it out later for your benefit. I believe that it's not enough to just click on the likes, but it should be able to generate something. It should be able to generate something. Marketing goes together with sales. Once you market, you want to generate revenue and make sales.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. So people can take advantage of the likes to engage further, to get more feedback, improve value addition services that they have to offer. So those are some of the key points that as SMEs and small businesses we should be looking at.
All right. So in practical terms, how does data improve your marketing results? If you can break that down, are we talking about better targeting, higher sales? What exactly are we talking about?
So it's very important for businesses after every campaign to generate reports. Okay, generating reports, it helps you to stay informed, and it gives you more insights, right? So for every business who's running a campaign, you need to, first of all, after the campaign, be able to generate some sort of report, right? That tells you, look, this worked this way, this worked that way, this worked this way. It's also very important to, after every campaign or every project, do some sort of post-mortem with your consumers that you targeted. Look, what worked for you? What didn't work? How can we improve all these things? So these are the kind of data that you should be focusing on as an SME to better your services or better your products, right? You need that feedback. It's important for the business to grow. And it will surprise you to know that a lot of feedback from people who are not even in the business can be relevant to your business growth. Because you see, sometimes when you are looking at things from the inside, it's difficult. But when someone is looking at it from the outside, they are able to tell you things that you are not able to see.
Okay.
So customer feedback is very important. And even for small businesses, focusing on only your customer feedback could be beneficial, but that will also not be taking full advantage of the opportunities you have with potential customers. So it's important for you to look at, both within and and without, if I may put it that way. So look at it from within the business and then also from outside the business. How are people seeing it? What are people's reaction? Your potential customers, how can you grab them? It's very important for you after every campaign to be able to evaluate and know what worked, what didn't work. And that ultimately goes into your data pool of what you should continue doing or what you should stop doing.
But would that I mean, can that data actually help you maybe improve your ROI or say increase your spending?
Well, so this is the thing about whether improving your ROI or increasing your spending, it all has to come down to the result of, look, is this working or is not working? And you can only get to know that when the data is right. So for me, increased spending, yes, it has to obviously come with, because you cannot increase your spending when you are not going to get your returns. So all these things are able to guide you. And it's an important issue you've brought up, actually. So some of this data even gives you information on whether you are spending less on marketing or you are spending more. Should you be spending more or should you be spending less? Are you doing too much or are you doing too little? All these things are very important. And for us in marketing as well, returns for us doesn't have to be immediate. All right? You look at building brands. So you are looking at long term. You are looking at, sometimes you have to compromise. Sometimes you have to lose. But it's for more of the long term benefits. So yes, I mean, these data, obviously, it has to improve your ROI, whether in the short or in the long term. And obviously, if you need to spend more, then you should, to be able to gain that ROI. It will surprise you to know that sometimes out of this data, you get to know that, look, you could spend less, but you could actually make more. Yeah, but all these things are there are reforms that are brought about when you have the right data.
All right, let me announce the lines again. So if you just tune in, this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond. This morning we're talking about data-driven marketing, or the importance of data in marketing strategies. And my guest is David Kwesi Maunya. He is the marketing manager at ANC Mall, and he's in studio having this conversation. You are free to join the conversation. Feel free to send us a WhatsApp on 0544 321019, 0544 321019, or you can call us on 03039566641, 03039566641. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to drop a comment there and I'll read that for you. Right, David, let's continue. Now, what are the barriers? What are the biggest barriers stopping people or preventing people from actually fully embracing data here in Ghana, or SMEs from embracing data?
I think the first thing would be having the mythical idea of guesswork still works. In today's
mindset,
it's just a mindset. So and it's a major barrier. In today's world, we need to understand that guesswork is not enough, or instinct is not enough to be able to be successful. You need
when you
data.
say it's not enough, does it mean it works to an extent?
Well, I believe it works to an extent,
okay,
but it shouldn't be the go-to for any SME or for any business. You may have instincts. Your instincts may tell you this. You may not be able to back it with data, and it may work fine.
Okay.
But because you are dealing with other people, and because it's not just about you, and in fact, the business is not for you in terms of, look, you build a business because you want to service people, or you want to provide something for people. And because it's not just about you, you can't keep on using your instinct to run the business.
Right.
You need to have data-driven insights. You need to be able to come up with campaigns that are advised, right? Not just by intuition. So as an SME, you really need to limit your use of instincts more and count on data, because that has become the gold mine now, right? All these e-commerce websites that are coming up, it's not really about what they are selling. It's about data. It's about getting people's information. It's about studying trends and patterns, which now all these technology companies are adopting to develop what we call AI and all these new technologies that are coming up. So the number one barrier is the mindset. Of I can run the business with instincts. Number two is also obviously people not knowing where to get data from or how to get data. Like I said, there are a lot of agencies in this country who have data sitting in their office, and you can, when you reach out to them, I believe that they should be able to help give you. There are a lot of business associations that are in this country that can give you data, the relevant data you need. So that also is a barrier. People not knowing where to get the right data from, or not knowing how to access the data. That's a major barrier. And then also, financial. Data has become expensive. It has become expensive now. So if you want to invest, at least you should be able to be ready to give out that much to be able to get data. So for me, again, those are the three things that would probably stop people or prevent people from getting the relevant data they need for their businesses.
In terms of solutions, so for the mindset, what kind of mindset does a business leader or business person have to be able to, to take advantage of data?
So as a business leader, first of all, you need to understand, again, that the business is not about just you. You are serving people who have different needs. You are serving people who have different ways of engagement. So once your customer is first, you want to know everything about your customer, right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to bring you something new, I wouldn't just get up out of the blue and then just bring it. I'll probably try and talk to your colleagues, or I'll go on your Facebook page. I'll try and find out, what does Nee like? What are some of his interests and all that. So it's and that I won't get with intuition, or I won't get with guesswork.
Guesswork,
right? I need to see evidence. I need to follow your pattern. I need to, look at certain things that you are interested in, and those are some of the things that. Those are some of the mindsets that business owners need to shift from, that the customer is first. And if the customer is first, it's not just about the customer is first, as in you want to just satisfy the customer and then that is it. But it's important to have that relevant information so that you can add value to whatever it is that you're giving to the customer.
Right.
So that's very important for business owners to know. Customers first. Customers should be your priority, and then that will help shape your business.
All right. Okay, David, I think we should be wrapping up by now. Our time is almost up. I think we had a good conversation. As we try to wrap up, how do you see data changing or shaping marketing in Ghana, maybe over the next 3 to 5 years?
I think, so I was very excited last week to hear that the government had launched their AI policy. Strategy. I'm looking into it in terms of how it's going to benefit the marketing industry. But I foresee a good future for marketing. I foresee a lot of people now being able to even pursue their own campaigns when it comes to driving awareness and everything. I see data becoming more and more relevant. I see it becoming more and more relevant because like I said again, the world is evolving really fast, and with the growth of AI now, AI is growing at a pace that it's unbelievable. So I see data becoming more and more relevant. It's good for SMEs and businesses to jump on that bandwagon now and make sure that they are well aligned, they are well prepared to be able to utilize data to better their services or their business. So data will be relevant today, tomorrow, 10 years to come. It will become more and more relevant.
Will businesses that ignore data today be able to compete?
I would say a flat no. No, businesses that will ignore data will not be able to compete. I'm telling you. No matter how good they are, or no matter how well they do, whatever it is they do, without data, you'll be missing a lot. You'll be missing a lot. And I'm talking, look, these days we say customers are not even loyal anymore, right? Yeah, they are not loyal. What does the new business owner know that you, the old business owner, that you've had this customer for years, now the new business comes and they take them from you? What do they know that you don't know, right? It's all about data. You need to constantly evolve because the consumer's choices and interests is also evolving.
Right.
Their options are evolving. All right. So you need to stay on that track. In fact, you need to be ahead of the customer. And it's only by data. It's only by data. Data helps you to predict the trend,
right? At
least to an extent. So when you're able to predict based on data, then you're able to provide that value that the customer will need, right? That value that the customer wants. And that is the game changer for every business. To stay afloat, you need data.
You need data. Thank you very much, David, for coming. Really grateful for your time and all the insights you shared with us this morning. All right. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So that was David Mawunya. David Kwesi Mawunya. He is the marketing manager at ANC Mall, and he joined us this morning for this conversation. We've been talking about data-driven marketing, or the role of data in marketing. And I mean, one thing is clear, that you cannot do business, or you cannot stay in business in the next few years if you ignore data. And so I just want to implore all of you, if you are listening to us this morning, you're a marketing person, you know anybody who's into business that needs this kind of knowledge, feel free to get them to visit our social media platforms. This video will be on our Facebook and also on our YouTube. On YouTube, we're at Zed Multimedia, and on Facebook at ZFMGH. Very insightful conversation that will help your business go forward. Like I always say, we are very much interested in your business here, and that is why we bring you conversations like this. So keep listening to Zed 101.9 FM. But that's how we wrap up today here. We are back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have a very, very interesting conversation also coming up for you. Now, we're talking about the peak hour pricing. Yes, I think we had a conversation briefly on that last week, and we decided to extend the conversation. So tomorrow we're having that conversation. Make sure you tune in at exactly 6:15 a.m. till 9:55, and I'm sure you'll get to hear a lot of things along those lines. But that will be all for today. My name is Nitrebi Hammond. Please keep listening to Zed 101.9 FM. And when you think Ghana, think Zed. I'll see you tomorrow. Up next is The Brighter Side with Jeremy Okorie Amwako. Please stay tuned.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And also do follow us on all our socials. On TikTok at Zed Multimedia, LinkedIn at Zed Multimedia, YouTube at Zed TV, IDX, and Facebook at ZFMGH.